Next is Uncharted Drake's Fortune. This is the PS4 remaster on the Uncharted Nathan Drake collection I got for Christmas 2019. This is my first time actually playing a game in this series. I mainly know the series for watching my favourite Let's Player, Chip Cheesham's Let's Plays of the entire series as they were new and rewatching them a lot. It's no substitute to playing the games, but it's amazing how watching someone Let's Play an entire series over 6 years can help you pick up an affection for said series without ever touching it. So I'm going to start a new campaign on normal difficulty. We start underwater off the coast of Panama with a quote from Sir Francis Drake and a coffin that has been recovered and being filmed. The reporter believes that this may be the coffin of Francis Drake. The reporter, Helena Fisher, asks the guy owning the coffin if he really wants to be defiling his ancestor's coffin. Nathan Drake laughs it off and points out she didn't believe him, because Francis Drake didn't have any children. Nate says that history can be wrong and reveals that the coffin is empty save for a journal. Nate gets excited but refuses to let Helena see what's inside, saying the deal was for the coffin. As she starts arguing back, saying that her show funded the expedition, Nate cuts her off to call in a friend for backup because pirates are here. That's at least the second best way to get out of an argument I've ever seen. It's not quite the dream world is calling me and pass out in the middle of an argument from Final Fantasy VIII, but it's up there. They can't call for help because they don't have the permits to even be here, so they'll have to shoot their way out. This starts chapter 1, ambushed. Lucky for me, pirates are fucking idiots and carried explosive barrels on the boats. This is one of those cover-based third-person shooters, so hopefully I don't have to explain any controls. It's also one where the screen loses colour as you take damage. I've never been fond of that choice, it's more distracting than anything. I'd just prefer a health bar. Some climb aboard but I have my melee combos. There's a simple quick combo by mashing square, or I can mix in some strong attacks with triangle. The advantage of killing enemies with the latter is that they drop more ammo. Keep at it a bit longer and the boat starts getting shot apart, but they're fine because Sully appears and starts blowing pirates up for us. The boat's gonna blow so they jump off, Elena making sure to get a camera. Then we meet Victor Sullivan, the greatest character. So great that while reading that out, I noticed I misspelled his name as Victory Sullivan. He's introduced to Elena and they take off. Nate shows Sully Francis Drake's lost diary, confirming that he faked his death. Elena overheard and wants to look at that diary.
So look, when Drake sailed into the Pacific, he took the Spanish fleet completely by surprise. He captured their ships, he took all their maps, their letters, their journals, and he recorded everything in this diary.
So this...
But when he got back to England, Queen Elizabeth confiscated all of his charts and logbooks, including this one, and then swore his entire crew to silence.
Yeah, so this...
You see, Drake discovered something on that voyage, Sully. Something so secret and so valuable, they couldn't risk it getting out.
All right, Nate, just pretend for a minute that I don't really care about any of that stuff and cut to the chase, would you?
Man only interested in the climax. He must be a real hit with the ladies.
Never had any complaints.
Okay, then. I'll jump to the good part, just for you.
Ho, ho, ho.
Huh?
El goddamn Dorado.
He was onto something big, all right.
Does it say anything else?
Oh, so now you're interested, huh?
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, no. Last page was torn out.
Sully points out Elena talking to a producer on the phone and says that they have to leave her behind because bringing a reporter along is too much attention on them and will alert others to the treasure. Nate doesn't like it, but they do. This brings us to Chapter 2, The Search for El Dorado. Just a nice jog through the jungle with your weird granddad. A little bit forward and I find my first of 60 collectible treasures, a silver mosaic Inca earring. He also gets me my first trophy, first treasure, and a medal of the same name. The medals are for getting unlockables and are from the PS3 version before trophies were included in PS3 games. This version just makes getting most of the medals the trophies. A little more walking and Nate is at the spot he should be finding something, but there's nothing there. Sully gets a little fed up but they decide to look around. A little further they find some ruins, which leads to the other part of the gameplay, Nate's incredible leaping powers. I climb the tops of these ruins until Nate points out something on the ground. There's a hollow part. I jump off to the left and find a jewelled silver monkey. I then climb the rest of the ruins and push this boulder down to open a way inside. They don't see any gold and Nate figures it was emptied ages ago by the Spanish before Drake even got there. Sully loses his temper. He's in a lot of debt and was hoping this find would get him out of it. Nate jokes around to calm things down, so Sully takes a chance to tease him over Elena. Nate points out that abandoning her the way they did has torpedoed any chance with her. I head forward a bit and off to the side I find a decorated gold ring. I then shoot an explosive barrel to make a bridge over this drop. At the other end I have to mash triangle to lift this weight and open the door. You can't do it, so Sully does it for me and I push a cart underneath so he can get through. Nate notices something he thinks he saw in Drake's journal. He takes a look and realises it's a lamp, so he has Sully light it. It lights the lamps further on. I have to shoot one of them to knock it back into the wooden debris and burn it away. In the next room I press the wrong button and roll off the edge to my death. When I reload I start climbing along the wall to this tree and slide down it. That looks painful. I then stand too close to this explosive barrel when I shoot it and get myself killed again. I stand further away next time and blow away the rubble so Sully can climb the ladder down. There's another lamp for Sully to light that opens the next door. This tunnel leads me to a room with a puzzle. There are 4 symbols around the room and Drake's journal tells me the order they need to be pressed into the wall. The wheel, then winged man thing, then spider, then angry face. Getting them in the right order opens up a hole in the ground. Sully stays behind while I climb down the ladder and jump across to a room with a block to push forward. This releases water a little further down so it's safe to jump to the bottom. Swim forward a little and when I am out I find a silver llama hidden in the corner. I do a bit of climbing until I'm on the other side of the door I left Sully at. I use more barrels to blow up the door. Then there's another door that both of them have to pull on the chains to open. As I walk through the next room everything starts collapsing so I have to run towards the camera and jump to safety. Everything falling apart gave Sully an easy way across. After that we go up the stairs.
Oh, man.
The temple must have been built around this.
Around what?
A statue. A gold statue.
A huge gold statue. And look here, these people, they're worshipping the damn thing. At least, I think they're people.
Of course. El Dorado, the Golden Man. Sully, it wasn't a city of gold. It was this. It was a golden idol.
Man, can you imagine what that thing would be worth now?
Look over here. Tracks. I bet the Spanish dragged it out on cut logs. We're 400 years late for this party.
So the trail's cold.
Yeah, it looks that way.
Son of a bitch.
Unless
Unless what?
we follow the tracks.
Before we follow the tracks I head back a bit and find my 5th treasure, a golden Inca cup. This gets me the beginner fortune hunter medal. The tracks lead back outside where they stop, but we keep following the path and I do some climbing for a silver turtle. The path leads to a waterfall and an abandoned German U-boat in front of it. Nate reckons it somehow came here up the river. Sully finds it a bit suspicious, so he waits here while Nate checks it out alone, leaving Sully the journal. This starts off chapter 3, a surprising find. I swim across to this little area off to the side, I grab a vine and swing side to side along the wall to make my next jump. What follows is a lot more swinging and climbing until I get higher up. I make sure to take a detour to the right here for a gold Tyrona pendant. Then more climbing until I'm above the boat and it's safe for me to drop down. Well, I get impatient and try jumping to it from here and die. I do it right next time. I know this is a PS4 remaster, but even the original looked really good for 2007. At the end of the boat is another treasure, a golden turquoise Inca earring. I then climb down into the boat. As I walk through the boat, Nate talks to Sully. Something bad happened to the people on this boat seeing as there's a lot of blood around. I mash triangle and spin the control stick to open the door and keep going. I drop down and Nate finds a messed up corpse carrying some Spanish gold, giving Nate hope that there's something here. I head into the flooded part of the boat and climb up. A couple more rooms later and Nate finds a captain. Nate points out to Sully that he was murdered, torn apart by something. He finds a map in the captain's hand with some coordinates and realises it leads straight to the treasure that Drake and the Germans were after. Sully cuts off in the middle of a sentence, but it's time to head back anyway. On the way out, Nate knocks over a torpedo that starts up, so he escapes out the bottom of the boat and finds that someone is waiting for him with guns. Gabriel Roman and mercenary Atok Navarro. These are the people Sully owed money to. Sully told them about the find, so they followed. He heard everything Nate and Sully were talking about, so he knows about the map, so he hands it over.
So, we square?
For now. But just in case you need a reminder...
Hey, come on, leave him out of it.
Yeah, don't you guys usually just cut off a finger or something?
That's far too vulgar. No, I think this will hurt him a bit more.
Now, whoa, whoa, whoa. Come on, Roman. He's got nothing to do...
Sully! Sully! You son of a bitch!
Well, with Sully dead, this game lost a lot of value. Also, I jumped off the cliff right away because I'm a fucking idiot. While I'm running away from the gunmen, there are other mercenaries coming up from the front for me to beat up. When Nate thinks he's gotten away and stops to breathe, he gets a punch in the face from Elena who followed him there. After they hide from those chasing him, he tells her that Sully's dead. Elena gives him a gun and now it's time to go back through his temple backwards, killing some guys. I pick up an AK-47 from one of them. I can hold one small gun and one large gun at a time that I can swap between. While hanging over edges, I can still aim and shoot. In the room where the statue used to be, I get the Headshot Expert medal and trophy for killing 5 enemies in a row with a headshot. In the next room I get killed picking a fist fight with a man shooting me. The room with the hole seems empty at first until you get to the entrance where everyone jumps out from behind the walls. Rather than shoot at a distance for the last one, I just run and gun my way towards him while he nips away at my health. In a fist fight with the next enemy, I accidentally end up behind him and stealth killing him. At the end of the first lamp room, I get Brutal Brawler for killing 5 enemies with brutal combos. I kill one guy by shooting before he can throw his grenade, so he drops it and blows himself up. Then I thought it would look cool to jump this gap, and it gets me killed. We leave the temple, but we aren't safe just yet. There are many guys hiding around these ruins who are just waiting to make you face through the body of the man whose neck is snapping. I headshot them all the second time. They get in Elena's jeep where Nate gives Elena the coordinates and the map he took from Navarro. He says that the island they lead to has to be where the Spanish took El Dorado. The next scene is Sully's plane where Elena is recording and hyping up the journey for her show. Once she's done, they start getting hit by anti-aircraft fire. The plane's going down, so Elena takes the parachutes and jumps out first. Once she's clear, Nate makes a jump himself, but his parachute has a hole in it, so he's still got a rough fall. Lucky for him, he got caught in a statue.
Strangers trying to kill me, leave my map on a burning plane. Plane is missing. Most likely dead. That's great. Great start, Nate.
Time for chapter 4, Plane Wrecked. Right behind where I start is a silver Inca figurine. Going forward there's a gate I have to shoot the lock off of. It leads to the end of this stream where off to the left is a silver fish charm, getting me the Novice Treasure Hunter trophy and medal for 10 treasures collected. I keep climbing higher and following the stream up, then start going around, dropping down a little to find a gold frog. I then cross this log for more mercenaries to show up to start shooting at me. I have the one wall to hide behind, they're not much of a problem. I climb up to where they came from and get attacked by more. I also get my first grenades up here. I follow the path between these cliffs, taking out more guys waiting for me. I then climb up here to get a good look at the surrounding area, where there are many more mercenaries hanging around. I self-kill the first guy but get caught doing so. I punch the next few guys, getting the Brutal Expert medal and trophy for killing 5 enemies in a row with a brutal combo. But I get cocky with my brutality and the next guy kills me. On my second try I get the 20 headshots medal and trophy. Apparently shooting someone in the head is more effective than running up and punching them. There should also be a 10 headshots medal, but I looked back over every enemy kill before this and it just didn't show up. If you weaken the enemy with gunfire first, you can get a cool melee finisher like this dropkick, but in this attempt I get killed by an exploding barrel. After you take out the first lot, more come from above, but there is an explosive barrel you can use up there to take one of them out. Then a third wave comes from above too and kills me when I think I'm safe behind cover. But at least I get checkpointed at the third wave. I still haven't gotten over that need to punch every gunman. Turns out using the cover and shooting is a good strategy for this game with loads of cover and guns. I still couldn't help myself and took out the last one with my fists. I climb the ruins to find an intricate gold ring. I then jump across to this gate, kick down the gate and very inefficiently kill everyone there, getting the 30 headshots medal. But when I try moving on to the next room, I just refuse to learn and die flailing my arms at people. Next time I lose most of my health from a fist fight and get shot trying to run away. I just don't learn. On my 5th try I actually get someone with a grenade. I also get the Brutal Slugger medal and trophy for killing 20 enemies with a brutal combo. This time I make it into the next room and make my way through everyone, nearly dying a couple times until I take out the last guy and take his shotgun. I climb up and find a patterned silver ring. From there I start jumping across the pillars to move on to the next area. This time an enemy spots me before I get anywhere close. Shotgun's good, being able to one-hit kill at a forgiving distance. Don't know why I gave it up and went back to fists then. During my second attempt I get the Steel Fist medal and trophy for killing 5 enemies with one punch after softening them with gunfire. After killing them all I head to the back to find a golden Jaguar. I then head out to a broken bridge and climb around the wall outside, then across to the piece in the middle to take out the 2 guys shooting at me from the top of the waterfall. I then do a bit more climbing but drop and fall off the waterfall to my death. Next time I make it across to the next piece of the bridge and accidentally jump over the pillar I was supposed to land on. I land on it properly and it starts to break apart. I jump just a bit too far to the left and die again. Next time I nearly go over again but just grab on. I then do a bit of climbing as a jeep shows up and I start getting shot at. Of course these guys have an explosive barrel on the back and they go flying. The jeep gets stuck and I use it as a bridge. I then jump across the rocks and get more guys shooting at me from another waterfall. I kill them both and keep moving. I find a silver Inca vessel and get the Enthusiast Treasure Hunter medal for 15 treasures. I then jump across this little gap and use a tree root to make the rest of it. Then there's climbing a vine to find some remains of the plane already being inspected by mercenaries. Once again I get caught before reaching my first bit of cover. I take out someone with a grenade and at the same time get the 50 kills PM 9mm medal and trophy. I mainly use grenades and nearly get myself killed again going for the fists, but I kill everyone. I then climb up this rope to the wreckage. Inside Nate finds a map, undamaged. Out of the window he can see where Elena's parachute was left. When I get down, another wave of enemies show up from the way I arrived. After the first 3 they come in pairs and I get killed by the third. I get them next time and move towards the exit only for more men to be there. Then a wall gets blown open and more show up. I die here. Once again I kill them all the second time. Outside the gate I find a golden toothpick. One more guy shows up but gets impaled on a trap. Nate sees the tower Elena landed on is a large fortress. I do some more acrobatics to get to the next area. Before I take on the enemies here I go off to the right to find a silver bird vessel. Now I can take on the enemies here. One has a grenade launcher. I take him out as soon as I can. There are traps around here too that can take out the enemies for you. Don't set them off on yourself. as I'm holding a guy to punch his face, an explosion kills us both. Next time I pass the halfway point. As I see more enemies coming around the corner, I turn and get killed by a trap. Then I let myself get surrounded and shot to shit. When everyone's dead, I navigate through the remaining traps, pick up a silver Inca earring and follow the path forward. This takes me to the fortress and starts chapter 5, The Fortress. A lot of climbing, vine swinging and insane jumping strength from Nate later, I climb in through a window. I go indoors, climb out another window and do some more swinging, climbing and ridiculous jumps to reach a vine to smash through another window. I then press the wrong button and bounce a grenade off the wall to myself. This alerted all the enemies who are ready for me when I go through the next door. I take out most of the enemies on the first floor easy, but when I go up the stairs I keep messing up my brutal combo timings and get picked off. Oh yeah, and I got an Uzi too. When they're all dead, I go up the stairs and jump across to this roof to get the Relic Finder medal and trophy for picking up a strange relic. It's a precursor orb from Jak and Daxter, a game I played once in very early 2011 and don't remember much of. It's not actually one of the 60 treasures, it's an extra hidden 61st. Also, there was another guy left over and I killed him too. I run along the fortress wall and climb across the rubble at the end to find a silver Jaguar in this little tower. This being the 20th gets me the Intermediate Fortune Hunter trophy and medal. I drop down and go into this collapsed tower for a gold mosaic Inca earring. In doing this I also alerted more soldiers. One of them is a big guy that took 4 shotgun blasts directly to the body before I went down. I go through the tunnel and blow a couple guys up with a barrel, but then I run out and get annihilated by a guy with a minigun. After everyone's killed, I go through this doorway and have to deal with one more guy. This room leads some stairs to the roof, so now I can get to that tower with Elena's parachute. There's no sign of her. I climb up higher and can zipline into a cell. From the window, Nate spots Elena higher up, filming. A voice comes through on the radio and Nate tricks him into bringing up a gate, or so he thinks. I pick up a magnum in here and waste one of the 6 bullets shooting a lock off the door. Then I waste the next 4 trying to shoot an explosive barrel. First target after that is whoever's manning that minigun. The last magnum bullet goes on the guy trying to take it before I take it for myself. I kill one guy before another hiding behind a box right in front of me kills me. Get everyone next time though and go inside. There's another guy shooting at me with a minigun at the other end. None of my guns can deal with this, so I drop down into the water below and hide along the walls until I reach a room I can climb into. I take out the one guy inside and get the M97 grenade launcher. That deals with it. In this room I find a golden spoon. Then I climb up to where the minigun was and drop down. Of course, they're waiting for me down here too. I use my last 2 grenades on the arseholes higher up than me. The rest of Wave 1 gets headshots. Wave 2 nearly kills me, but the rest was easy to deal with. I climb on over to the mechanism to open the gate. In the next room I have to use another to raise the water level and do it once again on the other side to reach the way out. Leaving this room brings me to chapter 6, Unlocking the Past. I go outside and Nate stops to look at the tower. It's marked on the map. Then some fuckers shoot me in the cutscene, not letting him get away with that. I also make sure to get that arsehole shooting me from above. Then I go up the stairs and wipe out the rest. There's a silver Inca mask behind the tree that was behind me. I get to the tower but there's no way to climb it, so instead I use this to open a gate lower down. In here I have to climb around these pillars and use a rope to swing. This knocks over a pillar but Nate falls and the bricks the rope was holding fall after him. I then die because I wasn't expecting a quick time event. I bet everyone who's played this game died to that the first time. As with most things in this game, I get it right the second time. There's a locked door here but the symbol above it is marked next to the tower on the map. Using the piece of the pillar I knocked over I can climb higher up the building and jump across to the tower. From there I climb the tower all the way to the top floor. Here I get the keys to that door from a skeleton and use a rope up here to get down. I then unlock the door. Got some more cells to run past before I end up in another enemy filled courtyard. This time the minigun is high above and I can't deal with it. Said minigun kills me. So instead I try staying at the first bit of cover here and slowly pick everyone off. That doesn't work either. 2 more deaths later and... When everyone on the ground is taken care of, I either scare off the minigun guy or he blew himself up. In the corner below his window is a Spanish silver coin. I then open this gate and take the stairs up to a corridor with more men to deal with. I kill a lot of them quickly, but while I'm shooting the ones in the back, one guy struts over to me and gives me a punch that stuns me long enough to get bullet ridden. During the second try I get the 100 headshots medal and trophy. Once everyone's dead, now I get to use the minigun on a large group desperate to get me off it. It's limited ammo and it's very satisfying. When I'm done, I go down the stairs to the left and find a silver Tyrone pendant on the way. This gets me the Skilled Fortune Hunter medal for 25 treasure. I go through more hallways until I find some old English weapons. Nate spots writing on the wall. It's a note from Drake saying they are going to the Great Tower. Then the guard breaks open the door for me so I can keep moving forward. It leads to some stairs that take me back outside with the tower Drake mentioned in view, and like 3 more guys to kill. While climbing up to the tower, there's a gold llama hidden away behind some plants. Then I'm climbing along the top of the wall where I just let go and die at one point. A bit of proper climbing and I'm inside and going up a lot of stairs.
This must have been Drake's. So what were you looking for, huh? Well now, that looks familiar. Huh. The ship's never left. Elena!
Hey, there she is.
Oh crap. No!
Nate wakes up in a cell getting pelted by rocks through the window by Elena. She knows what the walls are made out of and so she knows she can get him out. While she goes off to work on that, the leader of the mercenaries, Eddie Raja, enters. He and Nate have history and Eddie now has the map. He offers to maybe not kill Nate if Nate leads into the gold.
Listen to me, maggot. I was promised treasure on this goddamn rock.
While Nate drags out the conversation, Elena pulls the wall off the cell with the jeep. While Eddie is dumbstruck, Nate yonks the map and gets in. Chapter 7, Out of the Frying Pan. The jeep has a minigun and unlimited grenades. At first it's just guys on the ground, but as soon as I leave the fortress they start following me on quads and motorbikes, followed by their own jeeps. A few shots has them blowing up. This is a fun, easy rail shooter section and a nice follow-up to some of the harder Chapter 6 fights. Of course, you could still get killed if you're not careful. Eventually Elena reaches a cliff and has to turn around, taking a right. This leads them into a tunnel where I have to shoot away debris to get out. This ends with them getting to a bridge and having to jump the gap. They're not safe yet and end up at the edge of a cliff. The jeep isn't going forward anymore as Eddie catches up. Eddie accuses me of working for them too and trying to set him up so they can keep the gold for themselves. He demands a map and Nate reverses off the edge. Chapter 8, The Drowned City. We swim to land and go into the sea where more of Eddie's men are waiting. During this, in the corner by where I enter is a decorated silver ring. Next gotta open the gate to move on. They stop for a breather and Elena shows Nate something on a camera. A building that all the boats had to come through to unload their treasure. Nate sees an exit that he calls their way out. When Elena asks if he's giving up, Nate points out that they're outnumbered. Elena doesn't think it's a problem and doesn't want him using her as an excuse to escape. Nate admits that he's quitting, saying that it's not worth dying over. She agrees but says they need to go through there anyway to get to the harbour. There's a jet ski parked here. The jet ski is a pain. It feels awkward to steer and there are still men shooting at us that we have to stop dead still to shoot at. We do have a grenade launcher with limited ammo though, don't know where Elena got that, and someone dumped all the explosive barrels in the water. First time I get shot to death because I couldn't make out where all the enemies are. I see I was killing me the next time and take him out. Still didn't stop me getting slowly taken out while looking for a spot to hide and restore my health. I managed to get them all next time and keep moving forward. This leads to that building. Nate and Elena talk about how an entire colony just doesn't disappear while Nate drives to land. Elena spots a cable into the building and Nate goes to check it out while Elena watches the jet ski. Of course there are some more men in my way. I get through most of them and even take another grenade launcher but get killed while reloading it. Once they're all gone I pick up a silver frog hidden in the corner. Then it's going upstairs and doing a bit of climbing to open a gate to let the jet ski through, leading to chapter 9, to the tower. Yep, more of this, the second worst part of the game. Number 1 worst isn't in this video and I bet most people already know what I'm talking about. Once again I end up with another guy right above me whittling away my health and when I finally notice he's there and try to get away he finishes me. To progress from here I have to blow up these 2 weights holding the gate up. Now I can leave the jet ski behind while Elena goes back to wait at the customs house. Now this section I found a bit of a pain. This first segment isn't too bad, nor is this part after crossing the water. After getting out, my cover is really fragile and the enemies are spread out and throwing grenades at it. I do get the 50 kills AK-47 medal and trophy during it. It's the part after I climb over this gate, where I start with a big guy with a shotgun, a guy with a grenade launcher, and even after everyone else there is dealt with, more come out of the next house. This part isn't even particularly interesting, so I'll just say I died 3 times.
That's right!
There's a golden fish charm to pick up and I enter the building. There's still a couple stragglers in here, but they get a punch in. Next comes the long climb up this tower, climbing chains and loose bricks, Nate refusing to commit to a jump and dying, pushing levers, all that good stuff. One more enemy, easily dispatched. Then I reach the top and can zip line into the customs house. Elena's waiting outside, so first I pick up a jewelled golden brooch to get the Proficient Fortune Hunter trophy and medal for getting 30 of them. Then I shoot open the lock to let her in. This starts chapter 10, the customs house. We go up the stairs and drop down into a room below. This room has the old ship manifests and Nate finds a book that lists all the treasure brought here. Elena notices that there's more to Nate with him being able to read 16th century Spanish. The statue is also listed in the book along with a drawing, but the statue is the final entry in the book.
That somebody special?
What? Oh. Yeah. I guess you could say that.
Huh. I had you pegged as more of a woman in every port kind of guy.
Don't I wish? No, this was Francis Drake's ring. I, kind of inherited it.
Sic Parvis Magna?
Greatness from small beginnings. It was his motto. Check out the date.
29th of January, 1596.
One day after he supposedly died.
Wait, what are these numbers right here?
Coordinates. Right off the coast of Panama.
Oh, so that's how you found the coffin.
Yeah, that's right. See, Drake left this as a clue to pinpoint the exact burial site.
For someone clever enough to figure it out.
Yeah, nice try. But we're still going for that boat. Yeah, I'm afraid this is as close as we're getting to El Dorado.
We go up the stairs where the first guy there takes way too long to realise I'm in front of him. Stay in cover, but don't realise there's a guy behind me killing me. Next time I punch that first guy and blow up the man on the stairs so he can't kill me again, but get killed because I didn't realise there were two men on the stairs. Next time I take them both out, go up those stairs, pick up a silver belt buckle and work my way through those higher up while Elena mops up those down below. I open another gate and move on to this balcony. The boat's on the other side of the harbour, but Elena wants more footage for her show, so she'll wait here while Nate brings the boat. You know, Elena's habit of putting the show above self-preservation would make her the kind of character I can't stand, but a combination of great writing and acting for her manages to make her likeable. Well, that and I've seen the later games, so that's already in my head too. Shoot through another door and jump across the balconies, including one that gives up and lets itself die the second Nate lands on it. This time I'm prepared for the QTE. Just got a couple more guys to kill through the windows too. I shoot through another door that falls forward and lets me jump to the mechanism that opens the gate back inside. Chapter 11, Trapped. I head down the stairs and the enemies start piling in. Behind the stairs is the dragon sniper. This is a good one. Only 5 bullets though, and I waste one on the guy 2 feet in front of me. 2 more get wasted on the guy with the minigun until I finally shoot him in the balls. And I don't even know how that last one missed. Can't hit him with the aim on a sniper, but I can get him from a distance with an AK-47. The rest of them fall pretty easily, but more come in from the way I took. Every time you think they're finished and the music stops, a couple more come in. When they're all gone and I head up the stairs, I realise I could have used the minigun on them. I open the next gate and keep going. This leads to the boat, but some of Eddie's men are already there. But before Nate can take it back, Elena catches up. She has footage of Navarro and Roman, along with a very much alive Sully. The game has worth again. Nate isn't sure what to think, and Elena says he doesn't look like he's being forced. Nate may as well check it out now since they took off with the boat, plus he trusts Sully. Elena says they were headed towards the north. Nate reasons they're going to a monastery. We go up some more stairs and kill some more guys, nothing hard. I get the run and gun medal and trophy for killing 20 enemies without aiming. There's also a Spanish gold coin off to the side. We then cross a rope bridge that breaks under Elena, requiring her to drop her camera for Nate to pull her up. Although, considering the insane strength he's shown climbing the sides of these buildings and making impossible jumps, I think he just wanted rid of the camera. On the other side I take a quick detour down some stairs to find a silver Spanish chalice. The way forward leads out of this building and I do a sweet roll out the window because why not? Enter this cave, break the first guy's neck and pick up a gold Coatimundi behind some crates. Go up more stairs and take out the last few guys hanging around here. The Magnum is so satisfying, the way it sends them flying. During this I get the 20 kills West 44 medal and trophy while chapter 12 heading up river starts. But now I've got to get on that fucking jet ski one more time, and Elena just left behind that unlimited grenade launcher for some reason. I would say this is easier than the other 2 jet ski segments. It's less cramped and enemies are more out in the open. Hell, you're better off ignoring most of the enemies and just powering past them and smashing the fire button since on this difficulty Elena has good auto aim. This time someone just left explosive barrels to flow downstream. But there's really nothing to say about it anymore. It's long and boring, so let's just speed past it. We go through a cave and once we get off, I don't have to jet ski again. Until the higher difficulties. Chapter 13. Sanctuary? I kick through a gate and there are 3 guys waiting for me who get put down fast. Halfway across this little bridge I climb off to the side for a golden turtle. This is my 35th treasure, getting the Advanced Fortune Hunter medal. Kick through another gate and go up some stairs to find one of Eddie's men killed by a trap. Nate knows that these couldn't have been made by the Spanish since the trap was made by parts of their plane. There's footprints here too, meaning there's another group at play here. Nate thinks they're being watched for a second, but dismisses it. As soon as we're out of the cutscene, I drop below these stairs to find a silver Inca cup. Up those stairs are the first enemies with laser sights. I have to roll to avoid being instantly killed. Just before I can pick up a Desert 5, I get killed. I get it next time. It's strong. A bit further on we find the monastery. We overhear one of Roman and Navarro's men talking to them on the radio about securing the library and keeping us away from Sully. What they don't know is that Sully is a majestic creature that cannot be contained. If a pure enough being wants to see Sully, they will see Sully and you cannot stop it. We enter the monastery but get surrounded. But if these people were smart, they'd know what happens when you try to keep Nathan Drake from his weird granddad, especially when you give him access to the SAS-12 for the first time. After this, I climb along the ruins off this room to the second floor of the monastery. I enter another room and drop down. I find a jewel tool across in the side room and blow up a door to let Elena in. Elena opens this door while Nate holds it open for her. In this courtyard, I immediately climb over the fence to the right to find a silver toothpick. I then get stuck trying to climb back over and get killed by Desert 5. There's another dragon sniper here, so he goes first, plus a couple of us on the ground and one more guy with a laser sight. But my urge to punch things takes over, and I die again.
Okay.
After I've killed them all, Nate says to find a better way into the library than the front door so they can scope things out. First I go through this tunnel to find a silver Coatimundi, getting the Professional Fortune Hunter trophy and medal. I go around the left side of the library and see Sully stalling and keeping those watching him distracted by talking about his conquests. His guards notice us though after getting fed up hearing the same story. First thing I do is run along the second floor taking out the guys up there. I also get an M4 which I'm sure I've been picking up loads of times before but only just noticing now. Then I jump down but take too much damage and die from a light punch to the jaw. Next time I just jump down first and plough through everyone. Bad idea. Third time I do the exact same thing but somehow it works out for me.
Man, it's about time you showed up.
Well, you're looking awfully good for a corpse.
So you brought the girl after all, huh?
The girl?
Hey, if it wasn't for her, you wouldn't be getting rescued right now.
If this is a rescue.
What the hell does that mean?
You gotta admit, Sully, this all looks a little shady.
Yeah.
I mean, you tipping those guys off.
And miraculously showing up alive?
Now wait a goddamn minute. Roman had a contract out on me. I needed to buy some time. All right, stupid mistake. I didn't realize they'd try and track us.
Sully, we would have been headed home with the treasure by now if you had just for once kept your mouth shut.
And you might have thought of checking for a pulse before running off and leaving me for dead. Look, none of that matters now.
All right, so how is it you're standing here breathing and all, huh?
You are not gonna believe this. Huh?
No way. Old Francis took a bullet for you.
Yeah.
I thought this kind of thing only happened in the movies.
Yeah, well, it still hurt like a son of a bitch, I'll tell you that.
I bet.
Anyway, once they realized I wasn't dead, I convinced Roman that they would never find the treasure without me. So I've been trying to mislead him ever since, waiting for you to show up.
Well, where are they now?
Well, they're chasing a little red herring I sent him on the other side of the monastery to get rid of him. Look, Drake had it all figured out. See, that's the symbol the Spanish used to mark their secret vaults. The treasure is hidden right here in this monastery. Find the symbol,
and we find the vault.
When I get control back, Nate looks at the statues and then in the journal. Each of the 4 statues are named and given a cardinal direction. There's also a compass drawn on the floor, so I just have to rotate them so they're facing the direction given. Matthew facing north, John facing east, Luke facing south, and Mark facing west. This makes a bookshelf turn and reveal a secret passage. It leads to another library. In one of the corners here is a golden cup and cover. There are 2 torches on the wall and a hint in the journal about them being inverted, so I spin them around to open the door going into the catacombs. He tells Sully and Elaine to stay behind while he goes alone. Sully gives him a radio and Nate makes him close the door behind him after smacking his face on it. Chapter 14, Going Underground. Right away I climb up to the right to find a golden Inca vessel. I reach a huge drop, climb down and shimmy along the edge to the other side. There's a golden skull just left of this. Roman's men already got here but 6 shotgun blasts takes them all out. I open the gate blocking the stairs and climb up into a church. Tiny bit to the left is a silver snuff box. I alert everyone right away and get to killing. But I stay out in the open too long with a laser sight on me and get killed again. When they're dead, I find a door. Drake's journal has a hint about the two bells, so I shoot the furthest one first and then the closer one, opening the door. This leads back to the catacombs. Behind one of the coffins is my 45th treasure, a silver Spanish goblet, getting me the Senior Fortune Hunter medal. Somehow Roman's men got in here too, but there's only about 5 of them, so it's not an issue despite me getting myself killed twice. I get a medal, 20 kills Desert 5 during my retry. For some reason the trophy took much longer to activate. I climb up and jump across some platforms to a room with a coffin. From above we can hear Roman and Eddie arguing.
What do you expect from me, Roman? My men are getting massacred!
I find it hard to believe that one man could wipe out your entire crew.
It's not just Drake, goddammit! I'm telling you, this island is cursed!
Enough. Take your sorry mob and go.
Wait, you can't cut me loose. You owe me a share of the gold!
Your share, Eddie, was contingent upon you doing what I required. You assured me that Drake was captured and the island secure.
Oh, this is bullshit, Roman, and you know it!
We're done here, Mr. Roger.
Dai Camel! Matia Jallo! Cielan!
Remind me again why you employed that superstitious idiot.
You wanted someone cheap.
Well, you get what you pay for, I suppose. And what about you, Navarro? Are you worth what I'm paying you?
The vault's here. I'm sure of it. If Sullivan can be trusted...
Which he can't.
Look, he knows we'll kill him if he's lying.
Don't be stupid. He knows we'll kill him once we find the treasure. He has no incentive to tell the truth. Really, Navarro, sometimes I think you left your brains back in that slum where I found you.
I just need a little more time.
Chasing this treasure of yours is proving to be more trouble than it's probably worth.
I assure you, El Dorado is worth more than you can possibly imagine.
It had better be.
I keep moving forward, picking up a silver ingot on the way and a golden ruby Inca mask right next to the exit. Back outside is chapter 15 on the Trail of the Treasure, the last chapter we'll be seeing in this episode. First thing I do is rummage through the grass for a gold Inca figurine. I do a lot of climbing along walls, up a tower and back into the monastery where I get killed while punching the air. Since this is the monastery, there isn't much to say about this fight.
That's right.
Sully contacts Nate and tells him there's a secret gallery at the top of the church. I also find a golden bird vessel up here. I drop down in the newly available room and follow some steps to another room I climb across to a vine that takes me to the second floor of the church. 2 more guys to wipe out in here. To the right of them is a golden Spanish goblet. I get the Expert Fortune Hunter trophy and medal for having 50 treasures. Nate sees the emblem from the journal in a stained glass window. I have to jump and climb across the church's pillars and chandeliers to reach the end of the room. There are 2 giant keys on the wall and I have to grab onto them and use Nate's weight to pull them down. This makes the window open and I can now climb through it. In the next room I approach another window with the same emblem. Opening it shows a mausoleum with the same emblem, and Roman's men. Turns out Sully's red herring was accidentally the real location of the vault. So Sully has to set up a diversion to get them away. So I climb down and Navarro and Roman leave to look for Sully who escaped. Some guards are left behind though and they spot me right away. I get into the graveyard and get punched to death. And for the last treasure of this episode, I find a golden Inca mask behind a headstone. I then enter the mausoleum where Elena and Sully have already got there from the catacombs. There are 6 symbols around the room and they're all in the journal. I have to rotate the symbols until they match the direction they are drawn in the journal. This opens another door. Nate and Elena go in but the door begins to drop while Sully is crawling in, so Nate pushes him out. Sully's fine and Nate tells him to get to the library. This starts chapter 16, the treasure vault, but this is where I'm leaving it this episode and leaving you with Nate throwing a tantrum. I do get one last trophy though. Follow the leader for checking out a friend's stats. I just had my little brother add me as a friend and make a save file to do it. But that's all for Uncharted Drake's Fortune this episode. I was enjoying myself, but it does have some rough edges. We'll see if I still feel the same next time. And we're back to finish off Uncharted Drake's Fortune to kick off this episode. When I left off in the last episode I was at chapter 16, the treasure vault. Heading further into the tunnel leads to this huge cavern. There are a few Roman numerals marked on the floor with an arrow pointing in one direction. In the corner of Drake's map are the numerals 2, 5 and 7. But first I walk past the 2 and go up some stairs to find my 54th treasure, a silver cup and cover. Following the 2 and 2 5s has me climbing up to a water wheel. I get it moving, which also gets other things near moving too. First I climb up a chain it moved nearby, then dodge a swinging cage filled with fire and jump across to the bridge where Nate tries calling Sully, but it can't reach him. I go up the stairs for some more swinging flames, but first jump across to the other side to pick up a jeweled silver brooch. This also gets me the Crack Fortune Hunter medal for getting 55 treasures. Then when I try jumping back, Nate just slides along the edge and falls to his death. Then I get impatient and walk into the first flame. So impatient I was still holding forward on the stick and lasted less than 2 seconds after respawning. Next time I make it back and jump across to the next bridge, continue along and up some stairs and jumping across to another. Dodge some more swinging cages until Nate steps off to the side to wave at Elena. It crumbles underneath him and he lands on another bridge. Dodge a couple more flames until I reach a lift that drops Nate lower and raises the bars on a window, so I climb through it. I go left and climb another chain to reach another lift that falls as Nate stands on it. This opens a big gate so Elena can rejoin me. A drawbridge also lowers, which I cross. A little further there's an explosion. It's Eddie and one of his pirates bragging about how he's going to get the gold first. He then sets the rest of his pirates on me. I get distracted, punching one and don't notice I'm being shot to death until I'm actually dead.
Okay.
Once they're all dead, Nate spots a ladder mechanism, so I jump around the outside, take another grenade launcher man, dropkick a guy hiding behind the stairs, and once I'm up those stairs, lower the ladder so Elena can catch up. It also lowers a second ladder so we can both climb higher. As soon as I reach the top of the next ladder, I'm being shot at. I take out 2 of them, but the third finishes me as I'm reloading my grenade launcher. I get them all next time, get stuck on a ladder trying to get up these stairs, take out some more pirates at the top of the stairs, jump off to the side to pick up a gold snuff box, and jump to my death. Once I'm back at the top of those stairs and kill the pirates again, I go down some stairs only to go up some more into a cutscene.
There's nothing here.
This is getting so old.
Nate?
It's Drake. He never found it. He just died here. So much for greatness. Wasted his life. For nothing.
They decide to get moving while gunshots and panicked screams can be heard in the distance. This begins chapter 17, The Heart of the Vault. I run around picking up ammo, don't notice a hole, and gently jog into it and die. Nate sees some machinery higher up and gives Elena a boost to a ladder to see if she can use it to get him up. She sees a rope Nate can use to get up and a tunnel they can use to get out. Eddie and one pirate catch up and are shitting themselves. The noises and screams can still be heard as the last pirate backs too close to a hole and gets dragged down by some strange zombie creature. More then climb up and surround Nate and Eddie. Now when flying them, don't run up swinging your fist because you'll lose. You have to run around, avoid them and the holes and keep shooting. That's why the ground is littered with ammo. Gotta say, when I first watched Chip Cheeseman's Let's Play of this game 10 years ago, I was not expecting anything like this. I know these games are heavily Indiana Jones inspired, but something this out of the ordinary never crossed my mind. While this is going on, Nate's yelling to Elena to lower the rope, but the machine's rusted over and she's struggling with it. After a while, Eddie gets cocky and starts mocking them, only for one to grab him. Nate tries to help, but Eddie's neck gets bit open and he's dragged down to his death. Now I have to fight them alone and I'm killed in seconds by a deadly back scratch. Right after loading, I get the 50 kills Moss 12 medal and trophy. Elena finally gets the rope moving so Nate can climb up and Elena can swing him over to her. Not safe yet and they both have to run through another tunnel while I shoot at zombies behind me. They reach a door that Nate seals shut and manages to keep them out. This room turns out to have been built by the same Germans whose U-boat we found back at the beginning. There's also some notes showing that the statue was beneath the monastery all along. Elena finds a lift that should take them to the surface, but there's no power. Nate sees the generator room on the map and Elena smashes the window open so Nate can climb out and get there. He has to leave Elena alone though since she can't make the jump. Chapter 18, The Bunker. I have a long and uneventful climb across many pipes to the other end of this giant room. I can't imagine how it feels sliding down all those rusted metal pipes using your hands. Once I reach the other side, I jump over a broken walkway and head into the dark corridors. Sully tries calling Nate, but the signal still isn't good enough. I find another room in a terrible state, and through that is more corridors filled with the zombies. There are a lot of turns and forks in this maze of corridors, and many more of them waiting to ambush me. At a dead end, and not far off from the beginning, is a gold monkey figurine. I reach the generator room and turn a huge crank. That's the power back on, but an alarm goes off, starting chapter 19, Unwelcome Guests. We get flooded with zombies and I have to go into a side room and fight my way to a switch. Pulling that opens a door on the opposite end. The switch here opens up the way back out. Nate shuts the door behind him and realises that all the bodies later in this place were deaths caused by them. Returning to the large room from before, there's now a projector running.
Is near. The devils hunt for me in the darkness. The gold of El Dorado bears a terrible curse. The Spaniards have unleashed hell, become as demons. My men have all been murdered, leaving the task to me alone. No ship will depart this island. I destroyed them all and drowned the cursed city. A thing of such great evil must never leave these shores. In my final hour, I commend my soul to God. May he have mercy on this unholy place. Francis Drake.
Don't get much time to take that in before more catch up to me. Once they're dead, I open the door I came through the first time I got here and go through the newly opened door leading to a room facing opposite from where I left Elena. Turns out Roman and Navarro have already caught up and have her. They also had the map that points directly to El Dorado. They're taking Elena hostage too to keep Nate and Sully from following them. They then leave there. Nate then hears some of their men heading towards him. Those two I take out with the grenade. I then head down the stairs they came up and take out some more. There's also more descendants, that's their names, hanging around and they'll take out some of them for me. During this I get the 30 kills MP40 medal and trophy. This room leads outside where there's both a dude with a laser sight and a couple descendants. Once they're all dead, I climb a few crates to find a golden sea dragon pendant. I've made it back around the other side where a couple more descendants tried to kill me, and after them is a doorway leading to a ladder that takes me back outside and into chapter 20, Race to the Rescue. Nate's radio can finally reach Sully, who's under attack outside the church, but first gotta pick up this gold ingot. I head forward which puts me back at the monastery. It seems like it'd be no problem at first, but then it turns out there's a lot of grenade and laser sight men. Then when it seems like you're done and the music dies down, some more come out. I get chipped away by grenade explosions and then lose a fist fight. Thankfully it checkpoints me at the second wave, but I still get killed by the same guy twice. Once they're all dealt with, Nate fills Sully in on what he knows and they head into the church. I forget where the church is for a bit and try fighting my way into the library. I eventually sort myself out and as you would expect, more of Navarro's men are hanging around. Layout of this room is the same as before, so... Think you've dealt with everyone, but more coming through the door you entered from and I get sniped while punching a man. Once I dealt with them all, I head over to the altar and then slowly push it forward to reveal the hidden passage. We drop in to start chapter 21, Golden Bones. Now we have more catacombs to make my way through. A couple rooms in, off to the side I find a golden skull rosary, getting me the Master Fortune Hunter trophy medal for getting 60 out of 60. Of course that strange relic adds one to the counter but isn't actually one of the 60, so I'm still missing one more. Said final treasure is hidden behind a pillar in the very next room. It's a sapphire and silver mask getting me the Master Thief Collection trophy for picking up every treasure in the game. I then go down the stairs.
Oh man.
You two should realize by now that I plan for every contingency. Now drop your weapons. Down there. No heroics, please. Or I will kill her. Good. Now, if you'll just hang tight, we'll be with you in a moment.
It's magnificent. The craftsmanship. I've never seen anything like it before.
That is only a shell. The real treasure of El Dorado lies inside. Open it! Adios, Jefe.
Surprise, Navarro is the main villain and not a secondary villain, and I didn't care. Neither him or Roman are interesting, and after watching the Let's Play of this game, I completely forgot about this villain swap twist until I rewatched it. While Nate and Navarro have a little shout at each other and El Dorado is being picked up by helicopter, more descendants climb down from above and swarm Navarro's men. Navarro runs off with Elena, and Nate and Sully take out the men holding them at gunpoint. Sully will cover Nate while he tries to stop them taking off with the statue. Just run and gun through the descendants and charge up the stairs. I get a bit cocky though, just charging through everyone, but one guy comes around the corner and puts me down. Don't jump into that bit of water in front of the starting point either, because a descendant will pop up and drag you under. I make it to the top and jump onto the net, taking the helicopter ride. One guard sees Nate and radios Navarro. Another guy tries to shoot Nate down, but Elena kicks him out of the helicopter. The guy still shooting while falling, taking out the pilot and leading to a crash landing on a boat. Elena is unconscious, but Navarro is fine enough to come out and fight. Final boss, chapter 22, Showdown. It's the worst chapter in the game. Navarro is backed up by some more men I have to take out first because I can't even damage him. Navarro also kills me in one shot. If I'm not behind cover when he decides he wants to shoot, I'm fucking dead. He does have a pattern though, he'll fire 3 shots in succession, then pause a second before firing a 4th, then he takes a break. Once his backup is killed, Navarro runs off to the next section. This one is slightly harder because there are more men and my cover is destructible, so I'm also on a time limit. I get killed. On my second try of this phase, I get the 50 kills M4 medal and trophy, but I lose all my cover and die again. Quite a few times. During one of my many retries, I get the 50 kills SAS 12 medal. Navarro runs off yet again. As I follow, an explosion blows a QTE on top of me and kills me for not reacting in a tenth of a microsecond. I'm so glad there was a checkpoint. Navarro then runs up to the helipad. Nate is distracted on seeing Elena, so Navarro can blow up a barrel next to him, making him lose his gun. I now have to move between cover to get close to him and time it so he doesn't shoot me. This time he shoots twice before pausing. I make it over to him and punch him for a series of QTEs to punch him some more and knock his gun out of his hand. Navarro fights back and runs for his gun. I chase him but he kills me. So, having not watched this fight in a few years, I assume running for him was not the correct choice, so I spend nearly 5 minutes getting killed trying anything else. And then I try it again and do one more QTE to finish him. This gets the Chartered Easy and Chartered Normal trophies and medals while Nate checks up on Elena. Elena points out that Navarro is getting up, so Nate pushes the helicopter into the ocean. The attached rope wraps around Navarro's leg and drags him and El Dorado to the bottom of the ocean.
Quite a day.
Yeah, save the world, triumph over evil. Pretty typical.
Really?
It's a shame we're leaving empty-handed, though.
Oh, well, you know, I did manage to save one small thing. Here, I thought you might miss this.
Thanks.
Yeah.
You two got a funny idea of romantic.
Sully! Wow, you look like hell.
You should see the other guys. Got us a boat.
We already have a boat.
Yeah, big boat.
I like this one better.
Sully, you beautiful son of a bitch!
Borrowed it off a couple of pirates who were too dead to cash.
Sorry you didn't get your story.
No, that's alright. There'll be other stories. You still owe me one.
I'm good for it.
So, what about the Descendants? Are they all dead, or are some poor bastards a couple of years from now going to discover this place and get ripped to shreds too? Well, that's the main game and what I'll be basing the ranking on. But I'm far from done. There's still a lot of trophies to get. I've unlocked a chapter select, and first thing I do is put myself right back at that final boss. Now I know what to do, it takes a couple of tries and reloading the save, but I do the entire chapter in one long go without dying for the YOLO Fortunately trophy. Now for higher difficulty runs. One needs to be unlocked first, so the highest I can go is Crushing right now. Higher difficulty doesn't mean different enemy patterns, just stronger and smarter enemies, and I've jumped up a few levels from normal. Chapter 1 I get done on my first try. I also have a mess around with the skins I unlocked from getting medals, starting with Elena. Every character in the game can have their model replace Nate's. Gameplay only, not in cutscenes. Apart from that, Chapter 2 is the same since there are no enemies. During Chapter 3 I get the trophy Cosplay for killing an enemy while using the skin of another character. I die a lot during the escape segment, and that part takes me 13 minutes altogether. I die a lot in Chapter 4, but I do get the Hangman Medal and trophy for killing 10 enemies while hanging from a ledge, along with the 250 headshots trophy 5 minutes later. A couple of minutes after that I get the 30 kills MK NDI Medal and trophy for killing 30 enemies with grenades. Half an hour later I get the Triple Dynamite Medal and trophy for killing 3 enemies with a single explosion. 40 minutes later in the last section of this chapter I get the 30 kills M79 Medal and trophy just as I get killed for the millionth time. Then right after respawning I get the Dynamite Master Medal and trophy for killing 3 enemies with a single explosion 5 times. Altogether it takes me over an hour and 40 minutes to get through Chapter 4. Not far into Chapter 5 I get the 50 kills Micro 9mm Medal and trophy. In comparison to Chapter 4, Chapter 5 only took half an hour, as did Chapter 6. Chapter 7 took less than 10 minutes but there were a lot of deaths in that. 50 minutes together for Chapters 8 and 9. Chapter 10 took only 8 minutes, and just over 25 for Chapter 11 and 12 together. During Chapter 13 I get the 30 kills Dragon Sniper Medal and trophy. This chapter took over 55 minutes altogether. During Chapter 14 I get the 50 kills 92FS 9mm Medal and trophy. This chapter only took just over 10 minutes. In Chapter 15 I get the Stealth Attacker Medal and trophy for killing 20 enemies with melee attacks from behind. This chapter took 40 minutes thanks to me getting stuck dying a lot in this area. Chapters 16 and 17 went much simpler compared to 15. After I ran out of other characters to play as, I went to other Nate skins. This is his original colour scheme in the game's beta. During Chapter 18 I get the trophy Supernatural Born Killers for killing 5 Descendants with the Dragon Sniper. This chapter takes me 30 minutes to get through. Chapter 20 took 20 minutes. Chapter 21 I did with no deaths this time. For Chapter 22 I put Nate back in the diving suit and beat it in a little over 15 minutes. I get the trophies and medals Chartered Hard and Chartered Crushing. This difficulty was hard and sometimes got a little unfun, but it's nothing compared to what I've just unlocked. Brutal difficulty. Everything I said about enemy AI and damage and crushing is raised up to unbearable levels. Chapters 1 and 2 still aren't an issue. During these I have Nate in a shirt and black sleeves and a Naughty Dog logo on the front. The escape segment of Chapter 3 took me 25 minutes to get through. During Chapter 4 I get the Grenade Hangman Medal and trophy for killing 10 enemies with grenades while hanging on a ledge. 2.5 hours into my attempts at Chapter 4 I earned the Master Ninja trophy by stealth killing 50 enemies at the same time I die, so the two of us just fall into each other. Right after I enable photo mode to get the trophy Shoot Some B-roll for Elena. Altogether Chapter 4 took me 3.5 hours to get through on this difficulty. 2.5 hours for Chapter 5. That end bit was the biggest problem, coming out of cover to die in seconds. Only an hour and a half for Chapter 6. Many times I didn't even make out that first doorway. Chapter 7 could fuck right off. This one felt luck based. Sometimes your bullets would just take out the enemy first, other times you'd be dead in seconds from respawning. 20 minutes, but since you can die in seconds here, it felt far longer. Chapter 8 took half an hour, while Chapter 9 took 2 hours. Here I also put on the cartoon Drake skin, which gives him goofy top heavy proportions. Chapter 10 took half an hour, same for Chapter 11. Double Elena's make it through Chapter 12 in only 10 minutes. Another hour and a half for Chapter 13, 40 minutes for Chapter 14, another 40 for Chapter 15, around the same time it took for Crushing, surprisingly. Together, 16, 17, 18 and 19 took only around 14 minutes, but Ascendants are much easier to deal with than the gunmen on this difficulty. Chapter 20 on the other hand took an hour. 21 took a few tries but still not long in comparison. Now the final chapter makes an already bad final boss even worse. Now it feels like every enemy, not just Navarro, can kill me whenever they want. It takes an hour alone to get to the checkpoint. Now this is where things get really bad. Remember the QTE? Well, you have only about a 70% chance of surviving past it. The enemies can fire in the cutscene and kill you before you're even given back control. For a developer who makes games as well made as Naughty Dog, that's unacceptable. Did this not come up while testing, or did they just up the enemy AI and damage and just assume it'll all work out? Because of this, it took me 2.5 hours to do this chapter and get the Chartered Brutal trophy. That was an hour and a half of the QTE fucking me over and killing me out of my control. Imagine the mood that left me in. But I'm still not done, I'm missing a few trophies. I went back to chapter 1, weakened an enemy with gunfire so that I killed him with one punch, then reloaded until I killed 10 enemies in a row this way for the Steel Fist Expert trophy and medal. That's almost all medals in the game, but there are still a few extra trophies to get. Now it's time to start a continuous speedrun, see how fast I can get through the entire game. Loading from checkpoints is allowed, which I do when I die. For this, I wear the Donut Drake skin that makes Nate fat. However, the reloading I did when I died prevented me from getting the trophy for doing the entire speedrun like this. During this, I get the final medal, Survivor, and its trophy for killing 75 enemies without dying. These walls can't stop me for clearing chapter 5 in under 10 minutes. Up a short creek without a paddle for clearing chapter 12 in under 5 minutes. A speedy reunion for clearing chapter 16 in under 7 minutes. And finally, Need for Speed for finishing a speedrun in under 2 hours 30 minutes and the Platinum trophy, for which the notification didn't show up for some reason. Then I did another speedrun without reloading in the Donut Drake costume the entire way. For those of you counting, that's 5 playthroughs I've done for these 2 videos. This got me the Fat and the Furious. And finally, I went into rewards and activated one of the tweaks to get the Cheetah trophy, and the game is done. I did also unlock some other things like art galleries. It was so strange playing this game after 10 years of only seeing it in one Let's Play. I enjoyed it quite a bit. There were a few annoying parts, but not enough for it to earn that dreaded "this game aged badly" label I hate. I understand I haven't played the later games myself, but I still think Uncharted Drake's Fortune is worth a play. It still holds up better than a lot of other games from its release period. Story is really enjoyable too, despite the boring villains. Even just experiencing the series for a Let's Play, I managed to get attached to Nate, Elena and Sully years before playing the games myself. I've seen the next 3 main games, and I'm looking forward to trying those out for myself too.